So now people are getting back. Are you ready?
You can sit down. Please sit down.
Can you please sit down? We'll start now.
Thank you, guys.
Please sit down. Thank you.
So now we are connecting. People are getting connected. We have Peter connected.
Perfect.
That's good. So I spotlight. Now it's 1600, so we go on there. Okay?
Okay, welcome back. So it's very nice to have you back in the big audience room. And I think it was a great work I heard from all these team leaders and so. And it's amazing what was coming out on the results. And it's such inspiring to see that people getting open for this new movement, which we are all in. And thank you so much that you spent for your valuable time, to do that. I mean, this is not something for granted, and I think this is really, it's applauding to all of you in a certain manner. I mean, we can't do it over the internet, but we will do it silently. So at this point now, we come to the conclusion of the different working groups, and also we would like to invite some members from Next Generations, which they can join this great event as a guest, yeah, and to be part of it until we have the final conclusion. Olaf, would you please come quick to the stage? Did that come? Okay.
Sit there.
It's okay, no. So please just introduce you quick about Next Generation. I mean, we are working together since a long time, but just some few words about Next Generations for our guests from this round. And then we will switch over to Michael.
Yeah, warm welcome and great congratulations to you all. You did a great job in the last year, so also from my side. And I'm really happy that the next Gen members are now in the big meeting, and they can listen what's happened in the last year and what's happened today. And that's our network is a network from over 80 enterprises in Switzerland or Swiss guys abroad, and we make solutions and projects and products for the next generation. So that's also the reason that Hans Martin is in our council of the next generations and also in the Peace and Snow. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much, Olaf, for the short introduction. So maybe Carl, you can bring some words from your side.
Yes.
Please, the floor is yours.
I'm very good. Yes, first of all, of course, we've been able to listen all the dialogues that you had and all the leadership from our team leaders. But I got this feeling that if you have a dream that a group would move forward without you asking them to take the next step, you are in a very, very good mood. And that's sometimes what also management is about, that you should be surprised of the result of what people are able to do. And I wouldn't say I was really surprised, but it's fantastic quality, as I can understand. I'm looking forward very, very much to see what is coming up. And I heard a little bit about the dialogue just for a short while and was impressed on that. So, of course, there is a big question about what's the next step and so on. We'll come back on that. Who is going to do the next calls and the next setups and so on. But thank you for your enormous commitment, because commitment is all. If you are not on board, if you don't think that is important, it really won't fly. But this is going to fly, I'm sure, with so many people, with so many wishes, with so many understanding of this. So thank you very much for the job today. And we are really looking forward to the next step.
Thank you very much, Carl. Great words also from your side. As always, you are very gentle to bring this into the round. Thank you so much. Now I would like to give the floor to Michael on all the results and so, and yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, and welcome back. When you do things like this, we have invited people from all over the world, actually. Some of you guys never met each other. You don't know what you do in everyday life, where you come from and where you are going. So the outcome of a session like this is two things. One is the actual results that you get out of it. The other thing is to start to build a fellowship, a community to make this happen. And I'm sure that you have taken some steps during the journey. Just one thing, when things happen, it's just fantastic. We have this documentary guy that I had never met before, but Hans Martin met him 20 years ago. And just a couple of days ago, they met again, and Hans Martin talked about this Peace on Snow thing, what they're trying to build. And he's a documentary film guy from Germany. And he's been filming us today when we were skiing. He has access to all this filming right now. And he's going to cut and create a documentary movie about this start of Peace on Snow. And I asked him just a couple of minutes ago, I don't know who this guy is. And he said, I asked him, well, how many people do you think your documentary will reach? And he said, I don't really know, but not that many, not more than 1 to 2 million people. And he was like, yeah, right. Not more than 1 to 2 million. So I think this little snowball that we started 1 year ago is getting rather big. So that was really fun to hear. I'm sure that he will make a good job. And now we have asked you guys to make a presentation, a condensed thing for 10 minutes about the result of each work stream, a workshop. And those results we will take care of, and we will also, I know that you have chosen groups to work on, as Carl said, the next step to make this happen and come alive during the next years. We will also take care of that. And I'm now really, really eager to hear some twisted and some very nice gold nuggets coming out from those discussions that you had with people actually you have never met before. So the first group who is going to do the introduction is the team about spiritual leadership. And that is Peter Olwin and Ashok. So the floor is yours, guys. 10 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. So I had the great pleasure of working with Peter. How we would like to spend the next 10 minutes hasn't been planned, but I will have Peter take 3 minutes to just summarize our amazing group. That you should have been there is the only answer I have. If you or catch the recording at a future time, but the evolution of thought and the translation into next steps, I will have Peter summarize, and then I have 5 slides that I'd like to just recap the whole 1.5 hour experience with us.
Now, thank you very much, Ashok. Well, look, really what we look to embody were 3 specific questions. And one was, what was your passion for spiritual leadership and what does it mean to you? What areas of social impact dear to your heart would you like to see positively impacted to make a better world? And how would you like Peace on Snow and the Davos community to help you share your voice for positivity, social impact, and help you achieve this? Look, we had a very, very diverse group of people. I very much, of course, enjoyed Ashok's presentation, and I really took away quite a few things that he mentioned in that presentation. Number one was he talked about inclusivity and all voices being understood. I think that resonates, and that is a key takeaway for what I think Peace on Snow can have as part of its vision. also this adaptive agility that spiritual leaders obviously require. All leaders require it, but this adaptive agility is a key component. And I took that away from what he also said. Also, leading with wisdom and compassion, with discipline and reflective practice to increase our economy and ecology were key points. But putting that into perspective, because we had Ashok's views, we had Kirsty's views, Maxim, Dragonar, David and Sophia from Intergen on Next Generation, and Mike, who is an impactor, and also from the entertainment industry. I think really what I took away from it overall as key action points is we definitely have this platform of a heart-centered spiritual leadership group of people with very diverse skills and specializations where they've immersed their lives in an area of mastery. And with Peace on Snow, I truly believe that we have that platform to really be that open trajectory amongst these world leaders that would originally maybe come to Davos for World Economic Forum, but they actually find that it's not fulfilling. And it was in Dragon's component of what she also discussed as well about all of these high-profile positions in the events and being around world leaders, but felt something was not being fulfilled. So I really feel that the discussion points and the key takeaway is how we choose to fulfill that piece that was missing in the hearts of everyone. And everyone has one thing. It can, and we discussed it a little bit. It could be from childhood. It could be an issue in the subconscious. It could be some insecurity, whatever the reason is. But the people in the room have overcome that to some degree in their journey, and are focused on some positive, impactful initiative in their lives. And I think that's really where was my takeaway on spiritual leadership is we've overcome it to a certain degree and have the fortitude and the knowledge and the guidance to do that. And a big part of course, my mission, and I feel it resonated with everyone, is it's up to us as spiritual leaders to identify those natural skill sets in each person and guide them to bring that gift that they have to the world and cultivate and nurture it. Now, we all have our views on how this can be done, and these were strongly expressed. But as I've said before, one that I like are the 3 C's, and that is collaboration, co-creation, and co-elevation. And by co-elevation, that means growing the community by elevating those around us. We've all been around business and other areas where it's more about politics and people trying to climb over one another to get to the top. Whereas with this idea of Peace on Snow being a voice for collaboration and co-elevation, I think was pivotal from my takeaways. Ashok, I'd love for your views now.
Great, thank you. Matt, can you make me a host so I can share slides? And I want to add to the 3 C's that Peter mentioned, 4 B's that Kirsty also brought out, and that was how do we move from being to belonging through becoming and breathing? And I'll leave that as a question for you. I will now like to summarize what we, and this slides deck is available will be made available to all of you. But in 3 years from now, we'd love to be accepting a Nobel Peace Prize, and Peace on Snow would be the snowball that started it. And we would really cherish to generalize these humanitarian values that are based on kindness and cooperative teamwork. Our observations in our group, as Peter nicely alluded to and framed with the help of the questions, was that people matter. And in our evolving community, we need representation and input from health educators, service agents that are public servants, civility, and global security. Leaders, spiritual leaders, evolutionary mindsets, and networked intelligence really will make a difference, and it can be in any direction that we all choose. So let's try to stay positive and move forward in a constructive way. community-based solutions, just like snowflakes are very unique and very context dependent. So we need to really find a way to connect the dots and share the stories that are uniquely dignified and allow transcendent solutions. And finally, we need to convert the snowflake that's pretty rigid into something that's more adaptively agile. And we thought the idea of H2O, or moving to a higher vibrational frequency of water, is the way forward with leading the change. So staying humble, staying open, staying harmonizing, lead to a process that allows us to realize peace for ourselves, peace for others, and we can pursue in alignment the passion and purpose for which we're on this planet. And then,
yep.
Sorry, and then connecting the past to the future. I have some nice pictures there. We can see in spiritual leadership with Dr. Athavali and the Indian comments that we have evolved with Miriam and Brett, with Mayor Philip, and with this young gentleman in the orange suit who has a son named Fadria in the next generation. So the last is we have to use our energy. We have the responsibility to build adaptive capacity to respond intelligently and helpfully to the rest of the world. And I think Peace on Snow, our group thinks Peace on Snow is the perfect term to inspire us, to not let us get too stuck on any part of the mountain, but to be able to go from the 13 kilometers at the top into the chalet with warmth and comfort in a positive direction.
Super. Yeah, thank you very much.
And I want to go out into outer space just for 1 sec and introduce the concept of gravitational singularity, which you can read in the PowerPoint later.
Okay, guys, I was going to ask you, how did you feel about this session, this group and so on, but I don't have to do that because you expressed it very well so far. I would like you to thank you for an excellent job, but one reflection is like, Ashok, could you bring that picture with the energy waves, your second last picture?
Yeah, let me just have to get sharing again. Again, I just stole some of these from earlier today, so I will, there.
Yeah, that one, perfect. If you looked at from above of those 3 different curves of Sattva, Raya, and Dhamma, that is, if you regard them as a ski track from above.
Oh.
Yeah, if you look at the lowest one, that is the one from a skier who is really, really scared of the gravity and the steepness of the slope, trying to control his fear and trying to survive and just get down the slope. The other one, the Raya, the red one, that is when you actually have learned some skills, and that's a short term. Use it when it's steep, but then you start to get control of both the speeds and where your skis are going. And the third one, yeah, the Sattva thing, that is a really calm skier who can go those nice turns, even how steep it is or how icy it is. That's a very good picture for a skier. Carl would like to say something.
Yes, I thought,
Please go ahead.
if you are, I don't know if you're finished with your reporting, but I would.
Sorry, we just had one more thing, Carl.
Yeah.
So we had to start at the top of the mountain and in the clouds, and we wanted to come right down to the street in front of us. So what we wanted to say is we committed to staying together for the next year by email, and Peter is going to check in with us monthly, and we'll be happy to do a progress report on what we've discovered and organized at the next Davos Summit.
Absolutely. That was a dream. That was a dream. Did we even find which people that wanted to address different areas ahead, or are you still keeping up the team, or where are you?
Use out the battery.
Maybe you, Peter, can answer that. Ashok seems to be out of battery.
Yeah, Peter, you go ahead.
Hello. Could you just repeat the question? It was a little muffled from my side.
Yeah, we thought that one wish that we had that the people you have got in your team,
Yes.
okay, would address different areas ahead, everything from branding to financing and so on. Did you find anything on that side?
We didn't really dig as deep on that, but what our key thing was mainly about what, of course, with these areas and skill sets and passion for social impact that we're looking to do, how we can utilize Peace on Snow for that component. But we know each and every person's skill set within that group. And through the course of the year, we'll work through obviously where they would appropriately be placed, because each one of us had a different skill set. I know a portion of the people reasonably well, but I didn't know the other half, and that was part of the process. So we identified the skill sets and the areas of focus each person wants to make. But now obviously we can formalize that over the coming in our next discussion.
Yeah. Peter, and I love the fact that you decided to have checkpoints every month, whatever you said. You are moving ahead, and I wanted to move all the time. So that's very, very positive.
Okay. So again, excellent. I'm very positively surprised. I just love what I hear and what you done for less than 2 hours work with people you never met before, and you reached up at this level. I know you're talented people in this room and in each room, but thank you very much for an excellent job. And I'm looking forward to the progress, and hopefully we will see each other on the snow any day now.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. So now we will have the next team coming up, which is learning and education, where we see the need and necessity for changes and development and new setups, not only for young people who goes to school, but also for adult learning, adult development, and so on. So Ainur, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm muted. Do you hear me, guys?
The stage is yours, and I love your hair.
Thank you. Yeah, yesterday was the color in it.
Yeah, I like your hair too.
Thank you very much. So I want to start with thanking you guys for the opportunity to lead the group, because it was a heaven of inspiration, definitely. So many talented, exceptional leaders, just coloring everything that is happening in education and learning now and in the future trends. I think I could summarize everything we said in 2 categories: see what is seen in this topic and what is unseen. Seen in the terms of the technology, we see virtual reality coming in and taking over. We see augmented reality coming in, taking over. Social media coming in, pods, trying to teach us different things, and also Internet of Things. So we were talking about this and how it was impacting us negatively, our kids, the society. And then we turned it over to the unseen factors. And that was more about the heart instead of brain. Rasmus was talking about that in the start, but more deeply in our session. And I was very grateful, and gave us many insights that's not there and known for everyone. But also about ecosystems versus egosystems. Then yeah, it was so great topics. So it was definitely topics we could address to Peace on Snow and work further in. We were also talking about programs or social platforms that are out there already from our team members in the group. We have already things going on out there. Marcella was talking about the youth, how they were teaching them different things by making them more interactive with games in the morning, or sharing their thoughts about how they get wisdom, how they develop, etc. They have mentorships, internships, entrepreneurships. Stephen was talking about more about maybe programs, mentorships for people in middle class. So there are things out there already, but there are also questions not addressed. Like Alex was raising a question about how do we transmit knowledge, experience to people. So we forgot the time. I didn't give any break to the group. It was so interesting. So, but I think we have enough to just roll the snowflake into the ball and work further in it this year. And we have also names for the different groups already. So we will try to filter everything into the groups and work further in them. Anything else I can add from the group? Anyone in my group that wants to add anything?
Otherwise, I have a question.
Okay, shoot.
And that is, I know you from before and your excellent leadership skills, but you've seen this, that a lot of people you never met before are coming from different walks of life. What's your personal emotional takeout of this session?
I think I felt the heartbeat in this group, definitely, that Rasmus was talking about. I could feel that.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much.
Good job.
Good job.
Very
So
good job.
Einar and the team, thank you very much for your time and your intelligence and what you put into it on a Friday afternoon. I think I'm very grateful for it. And I think I understand what you're saying actually without reading it. And I have a very good feeling about this. This is a topic that I have a large heart in to see where this will take us. As I said, not only for kids and youngsters growing up, but also for middle-aged and older people to keep on evolving, to keep on learning, to keep on developing. So thank you very much, Einar, for your work, and thank you very much the team for your efforts in this worldwide meeting.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, really.
Yeah, it's
great pleasure to have you with us.
So now we walk through existential leadership, and we walk through learning and education, where topics that we can keep on driving and take a leadership on and communicate and raise questions and make noise about. And then we have the third group, which I've seen a little bit from. I'm really looking forward to that. And I must say to you guys, it's still snowing here. It's very beautiful. I wish you had the same scenery, actually. It's very pretty. So, Mr. Royson, the floor is yours. This is, it's your 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, our group is really looking at small communities. It's a belief that small is beautiful in many ways, that at the end of the day, it comes down to each individual, each group of individuals to make a change. I shared a couple of slides which might be helpful. Matt, if you could pull up the first one.
You will. So here we are.
Oh.
So in looking at this question of peace on the snow, we felt that it's important to look at the context of the world in which we're living. We live in unprecedented times where we can't rely on rules from the past or past models. If we look at the challenges that we have, everybody's heard of COVID, we've heard of climate change, we've looked at financial collapse, we're looking at the eradication of species. It's about the only time that I can remember where so many different negative challenges have come together in the same place. And we're living in a society which has historically been top down, and the general view was that we need to try and explore bottom-up solutions rather than top-down. And we need to listen to our children calling from the future and change now, a move to models based upon hope rather than fear. We need to enable people at every levels of society across generations. And I've been working in this area for a number of years, and this is a map of 2013 with some of the reprobates involved. I would honestly say that we're still at the beginning of trying to understand this complex and wicked problem, and we're running out of time. The models that we've looked at in terms of communities is really creating a society where people are safe, they're secure, they don't have to rely on external resources. And that's all about shelter. It's about creating communities where there's a hub. We find that about 500 people seems to be about the limit, where you can know each other, you can share each other, the decision-making process, and really create communities which are independent. They're independent for food, and water, and energy, and you take away the negativities of debt, and you move towards the positivity of love. And we have a model, an experimental model of a building that we're working on now, which is about trying to create buildings that will last 100 years, that are resistant to earthquakes and flooding, and can grow the food on the outside of the building, and you can be much more independent. So Matt, maybe you could show them an example of that. No? That's it. So this is a dome straight structure which you can build very quickly. Our target is about $50 per square meter, which is much less. The last 100 years, generates its own electricity, reuses its own water, and hopefully creates a new beginning. In our group, we had many different aspects in terms of this conversation. One of the most important aspects was this business of connecting, people knowing each other, people sharing together, sharing decision-making process, and this idea of kindness in action, looking after each other, being aware of each other's problems and doing the best to solve them. Culture was incredibly important, because when we talk about a brand, it's not just a universal brand across the world, it's a brand by community, recognizing religion and geography and history. And I think the comment was made that the Swedish skiers have some challenges with the Swiss skiers in terms of culture.
Yeah.
And the point is to accept that people are different, have different ways, and through dialogue find a place of love which brings about a new beginning. So we're looking now at problems which could best be described as global, and problems which we've never really seen before. We've talked about climate change and the tipping point. The feed I get from the United Nations is we're probably already beyond the tipping point.
Yeah.
So we may be in a situation of damage containment rather than solving the problem. In that respect, survival is going to be in small communities. It's going to be neighborliness. It's going to be joining together to sort things out rather than relying on help from above or from organizations. So whilst the problems are global, I believe the solutions, or we believe that the solutions are local, and it's about creating local solutions and recognizing that everybody is valuable in a community. As you know, probably know from the Ikigai community in Japan, everybody works, everybody contributes, everybody's part of it, and everybody's looked after. And in many ways, nobody left behind. This closer connection is clearly important in terms of physical connection, but in the digital world that we now live in, we have the ability, like today, to connect people from many different countries, many different cultures, and to listen to different viewpoints. And I think the future is about bringing that together, where small communities can connect within their own framework and connect within a very much larger network of knowledge and skills. In technology, we're moving to a space where you can virtually store all human knowledge on a hard drive.
Yeah.
So we're looking to a place where people are going to have to move less, and of course the wasted time in sitting on planes and trains and hotels. So we now have a choice to make our life more productive. I think this also means that we have to explore meaning. You know, we need to make sure each moment is magic, each moment is important, so that we grow internally and grow collectively. That's all about trying to create new models of relating, new models of peace. And in fact, peace on the snow is about, just as a love of snow, it's a love of people. And I think, as said earlier, water is the common denominator. We are liquid crystals.
Yeah.
Snow is a crystal in its own right. And if you look at the pattern of the snowflake, it's very similar to the universal mathematics of the universe, yeah? Which is dodecahedral and so on. So we are both small and enormous at the same time, and thought has power. And we need to start this model of being able to talk to each other more. I think Zoom and some of the media create another opportunity where people can speak to each other more often. Yes, it does lack some of the physical connection, but it also creates an opportunity for dialogue. And the fact that we are talking more often gives a greater opportunity to resolve things constructively and peacefully. And I think humour seems to me the common denominator that brings people together. And we've had plenty of humour in the last few days. This digital connection, it allows us to link small communities with big communities and to be more of a confederation. And I think the Swiss Confederation is interesting in the sense that it has at its core the quality of the family unit and the commune. And I think this is perhaps something we're trying to rediscover. It is actually a sort of hybrid solution whereby you use the internet to connect, use technology to start to reduce travel, and you start just from the point of view of transport, and you move to a point where we have a connectivity in person, connectivity through technology. But with that comes responsibility. I think we talked about boundaries. It's much more important to define boundaries. Just as young people, it's very easy to become consumed by social media to the point where you have no other life. And it's about being able to switch it off, being able to use it appropriately, being able to sort of take responsibility for those boundaries. I come from an old family. We've been around for a while. And when it comes to the next generation, it's always a challenge. Because,
and you're the next generation.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing that you know about families, the next generation never agrees with the old generation. So that just goes with the territory. But what we do know is that some of the old families believe in this collective responsibility, looking after people in their community, looking after things to come, but not in a way that's oppressive, but a way that actually accepts and acknowledges and builds on what's gone in the past. And I think this is where we come to this point where we need to move away from the negative, we need to move away from destructive aspects of our modern society, to re-embrace nature. And that was one of the things that came out in the conversation, that the things that are common across culture and language and geography and religion is this recognition we're all guests on the planet, and our connection with nature and the environment is crucial. And that if we can find ways of integrating health, education and enterprise by celebrating diversity and inclusion and creating a world where we are responsible in our environment, we create a new type of citizenship which is universal, and we create value which is transgenerational, then I believe we're starting to move into a right space. So our outcomes are very much around maybe starting to look at peace talks, like TED Talks, where we start to engage the different generations of dialogue. And we felt that creating this self-responsibility and collective responsibility was important. And we put together 3 groups, one to look at branding, one group to look at the digital platform, because we recognize that we don't know everything, and the third one to look at finance. How on earth do you finance this project? Through sponsorship, collective integration, crowdfunding, signaling, all sorts of different mechanisms. But somebody needs to look at it in this balance between relying on money coming from grants, money coming from families, money coming from individuals.
And bracelets.
And bracelets. Don't forget that there's €100 for each bracelet. So our view was to recognize the boundaries of our life and our existence, to accept that love and kindness is the pathway forward. And we can only win this battle together. Snow is something which doesn't recognize labels or titles. It's universal.
Thank you very much, Royson. Just would like, I want to ask you this question. It's like, you've been around for a while, you have at least 1 or 2 gray hairs. What is your emotional takeout from this? I know there's a very beautiful things that you say, but you as a person, what do you take with you from this?
I think it's moving from expectations to acceptance. It's very good.
Carl?
Yes, I was happy for a lot of things, but one dimension that doesn't mean so much in the focus is the culture aspect. And I believe very, very clearly that the way to reach to other people, if I'm leading, which I've done several times, I'm leading a global company, first of all, I need to understand before entering the room or the management team, whatever it is, I have to take off my hat. So what's my hat? Yeah, my hat is, of course, all the cultural aspects and what is happening to be in life. The second one is everyone say, don't talk so much, Carl, listen more. Yeah, very, very good. But I've learned that people are listening, but not understanding. Yeah. And if you're just listening because of the listening aspect and don't understand it, you are not going to move. And when you have been able to do that, it's a really essential thing to reach people. That when you accept that there are values in their life or in their society or in development that you can feel these are good, then you can implement. And so that's at least the one. And I was very happy with what you said, because culture aspect into this is enormous. I mean, we are born into so many values, so many values, so many thoughts and so on. So I like what you've been doing. Thanks.
Hans Martin, this is Asher. Can I ask Royston a quick question, since he's been a good mentor for me? Royston, did you experience nirvana in any of the time during this morning's session? I felt I did.
All the time, and it was lubricated with humor.
No, that's fine. So thank you very much, Royston. I'm very glad to have you aboard together with me and Mr. Hans Martin Heideling, the ski boot phantom, the god of ski boots. I would just like to remind you, guys, this is a fantastic bracelet. If you have not gotten one for yourself or your loved ones or your grandmother or your best friend or your manager, whatever, this is the time now to support us, and also the guys who are doing this fantastic innovation with illegal arms grinded down into something very beautiful. Like Hans Martin said, it's an example of taking negative energy into something very positive. So please support us in this way, and you have the link on your screen. It's worth it. They're very cool when you see them come alive. So it's wrap up time, guys, for this fantastic afternoon in Friday, somewhere in life, somewhere in the snow, somewhere in Switzerland, or somewhere all around the world. So I will start and I'll hand it over to Carl, and you will finish this. Is that okay? Okay. What will happen now with this? We have now those 5 groups. Some of them we have names in now, and some of those 5 groups your team leads will come back with, or otherwise we will call them or get in touch with them in some way. to get those 5 groups rolling and to create the structure and the system and the financing and all that stuff to make this foundation come alive for real. My ambition, my dream, and what I'm going to work for is to make this happen and also have at least 500 committed persons here next year. And I would like to have them on snow. Some of the people that will come here probably have never seen snow before. Some of them are advanced skiers like Hans Martin, and we will take care of all of them. And that is, well, some good, very good ski mentors from Skiers Accredited who will do that. We will also try to, already on that together with Carl, to create a satellite in Sweden, a smaller thing, but doing the exactly same thing. Mats is talking with the guys in Sierra Nevada in Spain to make this happen next year. So that is what I'm going to work for. And that is my commitment for the years to come. And this day have been over expectations. And I take away a lot of good thoughts, but primarily a very nice energy. And also the surpriseness of the quality in it, not at least from the documentary got, well, it will only reach between 1 and 2 million. It's like, okay, thank you very much, Mr. Haiku. So that is my way of saying thank you very much for this afternoon, and we're looking forward to the progress. And now, guys, let's make this happen. Thank you very much, and Carl, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you is sometimes rather small. I think I'm extremely impressed for what you've been able to do, and the hope of life. Hope other people are able to change something. And that's what I didn't go through it really, but I had quite a lot of view on what Beth had been doing. That if you build something and you are #1 in the world, and which is a trick, it's a fantastic trick because you get people on board. It's very easy to get attraction value into that. I've learned that when you have reached being #1 in the world and you're starting to get some competition somewhere, it's much more difficult to get, even more difficult than to build the first step. So that went wrong in my life. This time, I think we can build something with all our experiences, that Davos as a main center, which is going to find a way to attract more sites or more people or more customers on board into this new thinking. And don't focus it to be like this, like a square. Do it in a way that you're flexible and you build it very different. And getting all your views that we have heard today, as I said at the beginning, it's really getting more than I ever thought. And that's, in my experience, good management. When someone comes to me and say, Carl, I've done something which I think you should do, but you never asked me. Then you're really good. I mean, you get people into the right direction. And I think that's exactly what we have done today. So thank you very, very much.
And finally, Mr. Heiling, Hans Martin, my very good friend and brother in many aspects. So.
Thank you so much. And for me, it's like a birthday cake. One of you, you're a candle. You know, it starts to burn. I mean, I don't know how many people are on the call. So maybe when it's over 100, then that looks quite old. But I think it fits into this measurement of people. Now, I just find out that it is amazing what you can achieve with a willing to do something, you know, and not yourself. It is so important to address this to everybody, that you have a certain knowledge, you have a certain skill, but you have to find out where they are and have the strength to say, hey, sorry, on this part, there are some people around which can do much better than I do. Yeah? But to bring people together in a network, in this manner, in this atmosphere, in this positivity, And to be honest with you, I'm an entrepreneur. I mean, I build up many small businesses and bring it to run. And this is so amazing. For me, it was always the target to have on the end my, let's say, my workers or my right hand on the work, they getting better than I am. Then I achieve the goal. And then we can let them go. And I think this is something which we really have to address also here in this Peace on Snow, in this community, to build something up which has a huge credibility to our next generations, yeah, to bring something up which has a sustainable effect into the world, to create new products on a positive way, to bring people, all good people together, you know, on this new platform. And I'm just can say, you are my biggest birthday present I ever had. And thank you so much that you will all be here and that we could make that happen. Thank you so much. Much gratitude to all of you. And thank you for next generation as well. So I think it's something which maybe gives a little bit another view into the network. So as a listener that we are creating now something new. And maybe some of you are interested also to go further on certain steps with us. And I think what we should achieve now is really to create every month a call together, yeah, and to have really working groups. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. What a guys. So cool. Really. So we have now we have to play. Huh? You have enough room? Yes, just open the window. Big air, this is something else, isn't it? Big air. Wow. Wow. Good stuff. Huh? Really? Now I will stop the recording. Yeah, and then